Well, everybody, the Seahawks won, the 49ers lost, and all is good in the world. Or is it? I have some thoughts, but let's hear from Drew first because you guys have already seen my reaction video. Drew, what's your reaction to the Seahawks? We've had a day to think about the win. Give me your take.
Man, well, first of all, I want to talk about your take. Crazy. That was crazy video by Levi Cooper. Very over dramatic in my opinion. Look, the Seahawks at the end of the day, they got to win, and that's all that matters. Look at the wins, and they get another one. We can see some brief stats here. Was Geno Smith amazing? No. Obviously, was Geno Smith good? No. Was he okay? Probably not. He had a bad game, but 2 touchdowns, 219 yards, 18 for 24. It got the job done. It wasn't absolutely atrocious. I understand red zone problems, still a huge factor. I don't remember it being this big of a factor, and it really shouldn't when you have some really nice tight ends. And then you got DK Metcalf. I know he didn't play last week, and Tyler Lockett, but this has been a theme all season long, Levi.
Yeah.
Red zone struggles, and it shouldn't be that way because when you look at the talent around Geno Smith, that he should be built to succeed in the red zone, and he doesn't. So I'm gonna have to put the blame on Geno Smith there. But
Well, I think you can also put the blame on every time we get within the 15-yard line, Shane Waldron just stops
Shane
thinking.
Waldron clearly, Shane Waldron.
Does
I
he
don't remember
have
this
any
problem.
plays for the red zone? Like, does he
I
have
don't know,
any?
but I don't remember this problem being as big of a deal last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this year it's been absolutely atrocious. But something, Levi, you have failed to mention was the defense. Really, really good game
Oh, we
by
were
the
playing the
defense.
Cardinals. Okay, so who really cares? Also,
I
really good
care.
game,
It's an NFL level
except
team.
for when Josh Dobbs ran for 25 yards and an easy touchdown. I mean that play our
Okay,
defense was terrible.
you can pick plays all you want. When it's all said and done, Josh Dobbs had 146 yards, and their leading back had 58 yards rushing. So, I
Which
mean,
who is their leading back?
I don't care. Running backs don't even matter.
Amari DeMercado? I mean,
Levi,
come
Levi,
on.
Levi, you're so hung up on it's the Cardinals. The Cardinals
Yes.
have won a game this year, Levi.
Yeah, they won one game and they might not win a single
Okay.
other.
We looked good against the Cardinals on defense, and you just failed to look at that. Witherspoon had another really, really solid game. Did he have what? He had a sack
Yeah,
taken?
I feel
Or was
bad
it?
for Witherspoon. He had a game-changing
Yeah,
sack that got called
yeah,
back
that's
because
what
of
I
a
was talking
penalty,
about.
and he had a
Yeah,
game-changing interception that got called back because of and so his dumbass teammates keep committing these stupid penalties and taking away the big plays from him. You got to feel bad for the rookie over here. He's like, I'm just trying to ball out, and you guys are screwing me over.
yeah, I would agree. Witherspoon's been a stud, and then you look at JSN. He had his first touchdown of his young NFL career. Good to see him getting going. And then, oh, how fun has Bobo been? I mean,
Yeah,
undrafted free agent. My guy ran like a 4.5, 4.6 in the combine. Something crazy slow, something a tight end should run. No one wanted him because of that factor alone, but he comes into the league and proves to be a really, really nice wide receiver. He was bumped up to the wide receiver 3 with DK Metcalf being out, but he actually outgained Tyler Lockett. And with Jake Bobo, JSN, and Tyler Lockett all had the same amount of receptions in 4. Bobo looks like a really nice player. Obviously, he's still going to be 4th on the depth charts, but he's been a super, super solid player. And then you have our 3 tight ends who have been doing solid as well. And then Kenneth Walker, really, really well done. And DJ Dallas, yes, he did have a fumble, but he's looking like one of the best punt returners in the league right now. Levi.
yeah. On the topic of Jake Bobo, first off, I had him at 120th on my wide receiver index. This is the inaugural year actually of the wide receiver index. You've been hearing all about the quarterback.
You want to explain how this wide receiver index is
It's essentially it's very similar to fantasy
calculated?
points, except for I actually give out a few I put a little bit more weight on touchdowns just because I think that scoring is the most important. So a little more weight on touchdowns, a little bit less weight on receptions, and yards very similarly weighted to as I would to a fantasy point. Jake Bobo, here's some of the guys he's ahead of now. He's into my top 100. Jake Bobo ahead of names such as Marquez Valdez-Scantling on the Chiefs, ahead of names like Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Christian Watson on the Packers, who everybody thought was going to be a breakout star this year. Jake Bobo is having a better season than him. Who else? You can see Devontae Parker, former #1 wide receiver. There, Deontay Johnson on the Steelers, Hunter Renfrow on the Raiders. Guys who, if you would have told me in the season, Jake Bobo is going to have a better season than these guys who are starting wide receivers on their teams, I would have called you crazy. But here he is, almost as good as Jackson Smith-Njigba has been. But JXN, he's also solidifying his spot as one of the better wide receiver threes in the league. He got his first start, got his first touchdown. Love to see it. And then, yeah, DJ Dallas. You brought up DJ Dallas. He's a top 40 running back on my rankings, and it's not anything because of his running back abilities. It's all because of his returning. He's averaging
he did
like
have a fumble,
50.
which we should mention.
He did have a fumble. That was not great. It was actually a pretty bad fumble.
That arguably counteracts everything else he did that game.
But he's averaging like 55 yards returning per game, which is really good.
No, really good. But I think fumbles are a little more quote unquote fluky.
Yeah.
DJ Dallas hasn't had a fumble problem in his NFL career. So yeah, I know. Yes. Did he have a fumble? Sure. But everyone's going to have a fumble here and there. I'm not going to rip on him for that. A big thing, Levi, what do you think about Tyreek Woolen? Do you think he's kind of not loving all the spotlight going to Witherspoon? Listen, last year he was the guy. Last year it was Tyreek Woolen as the up and coming star cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks. Legion Boom coming back, 4th round pick. Look at this guy. Wow. And this year he's been underwhelming. Straight up underwhelming, not playing as well. Maybe a little bit frustrated, maybe a little bit upset that guys like Devin Witherspoon's getting all the highlights. Trey Brown played really, really well at the start of the year. He's fallen off a little bit. Michael Jackson, was really good in preseason and loves to compete and really tries to prove himself that he can be on the field each week. Where do you have Tyreek Woolen, and why do you think he's been a little bit of a disappointment to start the year?
Well, to be fair, he's been dealing with some injuries. He left the Lions game. Did he? I don't think he played against the Panthers. He came back against the Giants. Yeah, he hasn't been the flashy cornerback that he was last year. He's not getting the interceptions. However, I'm not seeing him blow coverage. I did see him miss a couple tackles in the last game. And I saw
2 tackles last game, 2.
Yeah, and I saw him make at least one pretty bad penalty, but at least he's not blowing his coverages. The guy who is blowing coverages actually is our safeties. Julian Love and Jamal Adams are the ones who are blowing coverages.
That does not surprise me at all.
No surprise, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I've been for the most part pretty happy with Woolen. He's doing what he should do, which is locking down his position as a cornerback. His tackling hasn't been amazing, but at the same time, we didn't bring him in to be a tackler, right? We brought him in to be a cornerback and to stop big passing plays, and for the most part, he's done that this year. So I'm not too annoyed with him.
Yeah, I think one thing that you kind of have to take into account is doesn't have an interception yet this year, which,
well, not many of our players do. I mean, isn't
Witherspoon
problem. The only guy with an interception this year? How many picks do we have?
Not many.
But I actually want to look this one up.
All I know is Witherspoon through his first 6 games last year had 4 picks. Now he's looking at 0. Only he's played in 5 games, but still, that's been a huge factor for Witherspoon. I think that stood out last year to me is the ability to track the ball and get an interception. Hasn't been doing so this year as much. Seahawks in general haven't been taking over or forcing fumbles as much as they have been in the past. But the pass rush looked all right. The coverage was okay, held it to 10 points. I know it's the Cardinals again. That's the caveat that I'm sure Levi will continue to bring up. But it's an NFL team at the end of the day. These guys are the best football players in the world on any given Sunday. Any team can beat any team. And the Seahawks held the Cardinals to 10 points. I think we're going to have to change conversation topics here. If you guys did not see Levi's video post game, go watch it. Do I disagree with a lot of his takes? Yes. But was it entertaining? Definitely.
Definitely.
Very, very good post-game show by Levi. So I have to give him some props there, but negative as all get out for a loss. Levi, explain to me why was it so negative? We got to win.
Look, I'm going to admit something. I tuned into the game in the second quarter, and I watched the game all the way from the second quarter till the end. However, I didn't watch the opening touchdown scoring drive to Jackson Smith-Njigba. And I'm sure had I seen that, I may have thought better thoughts about Geno. I was very annoyed because in the last 4 drives, we had punt and then interception and then fumble on the very first play of the next one. And then we had to settle for like a 54-yard field goal that if we missed it, we would have given them a short field and a chance to tie the game. So I was pretty frustrated with our offense based off of the last 4 drives. I made the video immediately after the game. I want to walk some things back because, as you know, Drew, I have a
You have
complex.
some apologizing to do, Levi.
I have a complex in my mind that is how there's only one way that I judge quarterbacks, and it's off of my own creation, my quarterback index, which I might have to start giving its own video every week, because I'm seeing very successful other YouTubers doing this kind of thing. Geno Smith was actually the 9th best quarterback on the index this week.
Wow, that is crazy. Wow.
9th.
So either your index is wrong or your eye test is wrong. What's wrong?
I think what's wrong is that he played very well, except for 2 very bad turnovers. But
Again,
other than that,
I would not say very well.
But other than that, he was efficient. He did throw 2 touchdowns. I went back and I watched the touchdown drive with Jackson. That was a really well executed drive by Geno. I went back and I looked at the offensive line as the O-line. They were fine. They were not anything special. And I went back and I said to myself, okay, I think Geno might be all right. And he did get the win. He did end up winning by 10 points.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little bit less mad at now. I will say Geno against the Bengals was not anywhere close to the top 10 that week. But this week he was. I still don't think he's a Super Bowl quarterback. I think he's a middle of the road quarterback, or he's around probably number 20 overall. He's around 15th this season. So he's fine. He's going to get us to the playoffs. But
Levi, yeah. I would love to take your apology here, but there's just so many things to pick at from your post-game show. The season's over after a win. Come on now. Like, I understand Geno Smith might not be the answer, but you look at his season this year, it has not been that bad. Has it been great?
What do you think the goal for the season is? What do you think the goal for the season is?
I think the goal for the season is win a playoff game. Obviously, every goal for the season should be win the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. So in that case, yeah, and again, I've reevaluated that as well.
And 7 touchdowns to 4 picks isn't great, but look at his pass rating, 93.6 over to the first 6 games for the Seahawks, just under a 70% completion rate. Something that stuck out to me when I look at his stats before doing the show, Levi, what do you think his longest passing throw has been this year? His longest completed throw.
It might have been
run after catch.
It might have been the pass to JXN. Was it 48 yards?
36 yards is his long.
36. Okay.
36 yards. Russell Wilson had a 50-yard bomb every game. It felt like drop it in the bucket to Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. That was part of the Seahawks identity. Run the ball, and then just a moonshot right in the bucket. Russell Wilson was known for
Yeah.
being one of the best deep ball throwers in the league. I don't think I haven't seen that. And it's crazy because I kind of just had this realization that's gone from the Seahawks. And I want that back. I want that where the ball is just floating in the air for a couple of seconds and I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see what happens. Will DK Metcalf come down with it? Will Tyler Lockett have a beautiful catch in like the corner of the end zone or something after a 50-yard bomb by Russell Wilson? I haven't seen it by Geno Smith. I really haven't. So I want to see that utilized a little bit more in this Shane Waldron style offense. You have guys to do it. You have DK Metcalf who can high point anybody, 50-50 balls turn to 80-20 balls with DK Metcalf. You have Tyler Lockett, one of the best route runners in the league. And Jake Bobo has proved that he's a big body wide receiver that can also win a jump ball. So I want to see some more explosive plays by the Seahawks. And I think that might be the thing that is kind of holding this offense back. If you just had a couple of those explosive game plays per game, it's a completely different story. That's probably a 7-point swing each game if you just have a couple of plays over 30, 35 yards a game.
Well, I don't think Geno has the talent to do that. I don't think he is accurate enough passing down the field.
You don't think an NFL quarterback can throw a ball 35 yards?
Well, there's a lot of NFL. I mean, Brock Purdy today couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. Every time he tried to pass deeper, it was a bad pass. So and same thing with Jordan Love on the Packers. Same thing with Sam Howell on the Commanders. There are some quarterbacks who just aren't accurate enough to throw the ball downfield in an NFL game. In college, all the quarterbacks are going to do it. In the NFL, it's not the same. The game is tougher. There's more pressure. There's more. I mean, it's not that easy. Obviously, if there's a wide open receiver and he has plenty of time to throw, then Geno could hit a 50-yard bomb to DK. But chances are that's not going to happen very often. Russell Wilson, what he could do is he could get out of the pocket and then still throw a 50-yard bomb.
Geno, where is that in Denver? Where is that?
It's not because, well, he doesn't have any good receivers, so it's not all his fault. But yeah, I mean that's
old Russell Wilson for another day. Special, man. Jeez.
I will say this though. I think you're right. I think the goal this season, win a playoff game. And I think when I thought about it again today, I was like, I still think we can do it. I don't think we are a tier 2 team. I did before. I don't think we're a tier 2 team. I'm not even sure if we're a tier 3 team. But
are you crazy if you put the Seahawks in the top 10?
Well, but I still think they're in the top 10. So
you do think they're in the top 10. Oh my God, this guy.
Look, I'm all over the place. I know this is what you get with me. You get raw, you get emotional, and then you get, level heads are going to prevail eventually. But sometimes
24 hours, Levi, just all the world of difference for Levi Cooper. This guy was yelling at the edge of the seat. Go check it out. We should post a short, just a compilation of Levi's best 60 seconds yesterday. That was an all-timer for the NW Sportscast. Levi, you got anything else to wrap this up?
All I'm going to say is with the 49ers losing tonight, my Seahawks #1 seed prediction is back on the table.
Yes,
Lock
season's over. Season's over. #1 seed back on the table, baby.
But I will say this. Is there still a way it can spiral? There is. And let me tell you how it can spiral. It spirals.
Brother. Here we go.
If you lose to the Browns at home, you're 4-3. No, but then you have to play the Ravens, who look really good. Let's say they beat you. Now you're 4-4. Now you're playing against a Commanders team that basically is hit or miss every week. Let's say they hit that week. Now you're 4-5. Then it's the Rams. Then it's the Rams who already blew you out. Let's say you could lose that, and then you're 4-6. And then 4-6 can turn into 4-10 really quickly because after the Rams, who is it? It's Niners, Cowboys, Niners, Eagles. So then if you're 4-10, you bench Geno. You hope Drew Lock loses the last 3 games. You go 4-13. You draft Caleb Williams. Future, there you go. So I'm saying there's a scenario where this thing could spiral. That's why I think next week against Cleveland is the most crucial game of the season for us. because that's when we can determine, are we going to be 5-2 with 2 good wins, or are we going to be 4-3 with one
No,
good
brother.
win and one
I
bad
mean, Levi,
loss,
you could say that about
staring down a
anybody.
gauntlet?
You're like, oh, they could go into the Commanders and, they could
No,
lose. Like,
but what
I
I'm
can do the
saying
same thing about
is,
the 49ers. Oh, they go into the Bengals. Joe Burrow's coming back. He's going to, sneaky win there. And then they're going to play the Jaguars. And Trevor
no,
Lawrence
but
is
what
going
I'm
to,
saying, Drew, is
just throw
what
the
I'm
ball down the Niners' throat. And then they're going to play the Buccaneers. And Baker Mayfield is going to have a great all-time performance. They're going to get the win there. And then the Seahawks come into town. And the Seahawks are always a hard out, and they're going to get a win there. And the Eagles are going to push their way to victory. And now all of a sudden, the 49ers are 5-6 and the worst team in football. Like, I don't know. Like, we could lose.
but Drew,
Yes, I
what
don't
I'm
think we
saying
are.
is we need to win. In my opinion, we need to win either the Browns or the Ravens. To keep our
Ravens is like
record
a tough out, too.
to keep our record strong, and B, from a confidence level. If you lose both of those games, you're if you're 4-4 with 2 losses, your confidence is shot. So I think we need to win one of those 2 games, and the Browns is the easier one because they're more inconsistent. They don't have their starting quarterback, and it's at home. So I think that's what makes the Browns such a critical game.
I understand. The Browns are really, really good defensively. I know they didn't show it that well last week, but I mean, it's going to be a tough out, and the Ravens aren't much easier. You called
Yeah.
Colin Howard
I mean,
crazy for putting them as high as they did.
The Ravens are probably going to beat us, but I think we can beat the Browns.
Lamar Jackson's playing out of his mind. Out of
yeah.
his mind.
But the good
I
news
think we're
is
gonna call it there, right,
with
Levi?
PJ Walker, I think we can. We'll do a pregame later. But so yeah, we can call it here.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video. It lets YouTube know if you like the video and it recommends it to more people. We spend our time doing this. Give us your time by doing that, and we can create more content for you. If you like no ads, Seahawks content, what are you doing? Subscribe down below. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the NW Sportscast, and as always, catch out Coast to Coast Sports on YouTube. It's their other YouTube channel, and go Hawks.